Alright, hello everybody, what's happening? Welcome back to another video. No match previews today. These past few days have been match previews and match reactions, but today is just another day in the news, I guess. Yeah, we'll get started in the news pretty soon. Of course, to all the newcomers, welcome to the channel. Welcome to everyone who's going to be on here. What do I want to say? The live streams take place at 7:30 p.m. CST, and then on the weekends they take place at 2 p.m. with the exception of match days. I do want to let you guys know, however, that I won't be able to make it on tomorrow evening. I won't be able to make it on whatsoever. I'm sorry, it's just I have work. Got to pay the bills somehow, and so tomorrow evening I will not be able to be on. So this is pretty, I will always let you know when I will be able to be on and not and stuff like that. But most of the time I will be able to go on at those times that I say. But tomorrow evening won't be able to be on. So just want to let you guys know about that. Anyways, yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe as well as click the notification button. We'll get started in the news for today. So the first piece of news that I want to get into, and I hope I can pull this up right because I'm not sure if I can pull up the scenes right, but bear with me here. Is it this one? Nope, it's not that one. It's going to be this one, I believe. There you go. So Gareth Bale, that's going to be the first piece of news. It's a recurring theme out here at Madrid, and I guess I do want to talk about him because he's, there's a lot of news about Gareth Bale every single day. So he's obviously very, very, I would say, a topical event. So yeah, Gareth Bale obviously, he went to go play golf, after he was omitted from the squad with Real Madrid in the Audi Cup. And look, I don't blame him too much, to be honest. I know there has been some controversy surrounding it. He's not helping himself and things along those lines, but how can you blame him? Real Madrid halted his block from China, his move to China, and ultimately he's kind of, I wouldn't say he's free to do what he likes, but what do you expect? What do you expect from trying to do something like that, from Real Madrid? So yeah, he went out to go play golf, and Zidane, he said, "I hope he trained. We are here. We are thinking about the team." He said, "Well, we'll see when he gets back. I will not prevent someone from doing nothing." But he said he also has to look after his responsibilities. We'll see what he has done for Madrid. I will not get into his personal life. But essentially, Real Madrid should have never interfered in that move, whatsoever, because it was his way out. It was Gareth Bale's way out, and ultimately, Real Madrid halted the move. And why would they do that? Just to get a little bit of money out of the Gareth Bale thing? For me, they should have just let him be, They should have just let him be. That was his only way out. And Gareth Bale was actually in China. It was almost a done deal. And then at the last minute, Real Madrid intervenes, and that makes absolutely no sense. Let me know what you guys think about the Gareth Bale. I'd say the Real Madrid halting Gareth Bale's move to China, because I think for me that was just totally ridiculous. Maybe it's a good thing because I would like to see Gareth Bale, somewhere else in Europe doing some great things, and not going to China where his career is going to be, just remembered as what could have been, what should have been. I want to see him succeed, because he is world class. It's just his injuries get in the way, but he is absolutely world class. We see it in the Arsenal game, we saw it in where was it, in the other game as well. So the class is still there. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. But yeah, obviously there is not a real relationship with Zinedine Zidane. So what's going to happen there? Gareth Bale is ultimately going to have to find somewhere else, and he's only got about, is it 10 days until the Premier League closes? I mean, there's essentially a month left before, several transfer window closes and things like that. But Premier League is 13 days, I believe, or something along those lines. So he's going to have to look for another club quickly because the transfer window is coming to a conclusion. James Scullion says, was it Zidane or Perez that canceled his move to China? I never got told. So I think Jonathan Barnett, Gareth Bale's agent, what he said was that it was Real Madrid who intervened at the last minute. He said that Gareth Bale was ready to make the move to China. I know there was, vacillated kind of, I would say, reports on this, but from what I was able to glean, it was Gareth Bale it was halted. It was halted by Real Madrid at the last minute, and it makes sense because Gareth Bale was already in China. It was almost already done. So why would he want to halt his own transfer? So I believe it really was Real Madrid that interfered at the last minute. Gabriel Labonte said it closed in 7 days. It closes in 7 days. There you go. Premier League transfer window closes in 7 days. So there you have it. Jonas163 says Bale is decent, but his injury makes him inconsistent. Exactly. That's the thing with Gareth Bale. If you want Gareth Bale to stay, we cannot depend on him solely. We can't depend on him. He's a good squad player to have, but you cannot depend on him. You cannot build a team around him. You do not want him to take the right wing position and make it his, because ultimately he will be injured. I think last season he got injured 5 times in Solari's tenure or something like that. I mean, it just goes to show how unreliable he is. You cannot rely on him. So there you have it, I think, with Gareth Bale. That's pretty much the news that I wanted to talk about. The other news that I want to talk about is going to be about, let's see if I can pull that up here. Yep, there you go. All right. So this is the next piece of news that I want to talk about. It's going to be about Rodrygo or Kubo potentially coming to, looking for some first-team action. So the situation with this is that Fede Valverde ultimately might be able to get Spanish citizenship. And if he gets Spanish citizenship, then that means it leaves one vacant spot for the non-European players. So right now, the spots that are being taken by the non-European players is they're Vinicius Jr., Fede Valverde, and Eder Militao. So those 3 players are taking those spots. However, Fede Valverde ultimately might get the Spanish citizenship, but it's not 100% sure yet. If he was to get the Spanish citizenship, then we can bring in one more player, non-European, into the team. Now, who would that be? Now, there's 2 players on the list here. James Scullion says, I prefer Rodrygo. I think Rodrygo would provide us with something different. And what I mean by that is that we have Brahim Diaz in the team. And Kubo has a lot of the qualities of Brahim Diaz, to some extent. But I think Rodrygo could essentially provide something else on the right. However, could he play on the right? I guess that's a different question, I want to see someone we can bring in who can play on the right. And, Rodrygo, can he play on the right? It's tough to say. I liked him more on the left, but maybe he could do the job at the right. Let me know what you guys think, actually. Nice Day says good information. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, actually. Yeah, I tried to give out the best I could. But there you go. Rodrygo or Kubo. For me personally, I like Kubo more. But if we have Brahim Diaz in the team, he's got a lot of same qualities. So is that like for like? Should we bring in someone else who can do, kind of different job, I would say, bring in different attributes to the team? Maybe it could be better for us. I like personally Kubo better, and I think a lot of Madridistas like Kubo better. But we'll have to see, I guess. That's pretty much the question right now. It's who will take that spot if Fede Valverde were to get the Spanish citizenship. However, if Fede Valverde does not get the Spanish citizenship, then this topic is absolutely pointless. But we'll have to see what happens. I think there's a few days left before he can get it, before whether a decision will be taken or not. But there you have it. So James Scullion said, do Marcelo and Casemiro have Spanish citizenship because they've been here for so long? I'm assuming so, actually. I'm assuming they do. Especially Marcelo, I'm sure he does. Especially, I think he's 15 years with the club now, Marcelo. Is it 14 or 15 years with the club or something along those lines? So I'm sure he has it. Casemiro, yeah, I'm sure he has it, So there you have it, I guess. For me, like I said, I prefer Kubo, but it's a tough one, Rodrygo or Kubo? I would definitely like Kubo in the team. I think he would bring so much to the team, but I think Rodrygo brings something else to the team that maybe we're missing at the moment, If you look at Eden Hazard, you have maybe Benzema up front or Jovic up front. Oh, Jovic is quick player. But you have Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard is fast, but is he the quickest player? He's 28 now, He's not as quick as maybe he once was. He's still quick, I'm not going to say that, but maybe we need a little bit more speed on the right-hand side, Maybe that's what it comes down to. We need more speed. So Kubo's, I don't know if he has that same speed that Rodrygo has. Rodrygo kind of has that really, I would say, the acceleration. Maybe Kubo doesn't quite have that. He's got more the nifty footwork. Brahim Diaz already has that. So I don't know. If I'd go with one, it would be Kubo, But yeah. Jonas163 says Kubo is more gifted in my opinion. I agree 100%. I think Kubo, I would love to see Kubo more than Rodrygo. I think Rodrygo could bring something else, but I would just love to see Kubo on the right hand side. I think he's so good, so mature for his age. Yeah, I know. It comes down to he's gonna be. It's I would say it's similar to Brahim Diaz, but I think he could bring so much more. And Rodrygo, yes, he can bring more in the future. I see glimpses. I see it there, But for me, Kubo, I'd love to see him more. I don't know. Gabriel Lamonte says he's overweight now. Yeah, Eden Hazard, man, those chips, those beers, those paellas. I don't know, but he'll thin out. We just got to give him a little bit of time. But Eden Hazard will thin out. Do not worry. I know a lot of people are just giving him tons and tons of steak, but don't worry. I'm not too worried about Eden Hazard. He will thin out. Okay, so the last piece of news that I probably want to talk about is going to be, of course, I would say maybe the most pertinent news to Real Madrid's transfer rumors. Whoops, not Gareth Bale once again. There you go. So Real Madrid reignite their interest in Van de Beek. Now, this is coming from several reports, in the tabloids. Now, Van de Beek has, Real Madrid has reignited their interest in him. Like I said in the match reaction, I think it was what I said was the Pogba interest for me. It's not going to happen this summer, unfortunately. Pogba will have seen the situation at Real Madrid. He'll think, why would I want to go to a club, who's, I wouldn't say in the process of rebuilding, but in the process where things are not looking so solid. Things are not looking so positive. So. That's why Real Madrid are going towards Van de Beek. Maybe Pogba doesn't really want to come to Real Madrid. He does want to come here essentially, but maybe he will be less attracted by the idea of coming here just because of he's seen what's happened in preseason. I'm sure that will have changed his feelings towards coming to Real Madrid. Gabriel Labonte says better than Man U though. That's for sure, but. Yeah, Manchester United is a horrible shambles right now, and Real Madrid, you could say, potentially they could be in a very bad situation. But we'll just have to see, We'll just have to see. If Real Madrid have a good season, for me, Pogba will come. But this summer, I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, Van de Beek could definitely be a different option. Could be a very good option. I've heard great things about him, especially in that win versus us. In the 4-1 win, Van de Beek I think was a prominent, I would say, or imperative in the win for Ajax. So there you go. Could be a good signing. I don't know much about him. Let me know what you guys think actually about Van de Beek. Have you guys seen anything about Van de Beek that convinces you that he's a Real Madrid caliber player, that he could potentially be a Real Madrid player? Let me know, of course, in the comments because I don't know much of him. This is just what I'm able to get from the reports, And the price range would be about 60 million euros for Van de Beek, which is a lot less than Paul Pogba. It's 1/3 the price of Paul Pogba. So this could be a very good signing for us. I know he's young, he's potential. However, we do need more players in the midfield, and if we do bring someone like Van de Beek, it could be very good. I think what we could do is bring in two midfielders. Essentially, I was kind of alluding to this the other time. What we could do is bring two midfielders in instead of one, Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba is very good, but he's not going to change or regalvanize the whole midfield. We would need more numbers, I feel. Maybe something like a Christian Eriksen and a Van de Beek could be better than a Paul Pogba at the current moment. I know Paul Pogba, for me, is a Galactico signing. He would be amazing to have. However, he doesn't come into a team, and I would say, regalvanize the team. You don't want to put all the pressure on Pogba because he's not going to be able to live up to it. Pogba will be good if he comes into a team that has solid foundations. Let's see. So James Schoolian says Van de Beek is great, but he's another cam, and we already have James and Isco. I think we need a real box-to-box like Pogba. Yeah, that's a good point. Especially, if Van de Beek is a cam, then yeah, we already have James and Isco. James is, for me, I don't think he's going to play. I think he's going to be moved on, or he's just simply not going to be. He's not going to play much. Zinedine said, you know how stubborn he is. Jonas163 says I don't know much either. Watched a few matches, but I don't understand what type of player he is. I heard he's a 6 or a 10, but again, I haven't watched too much of him. Jonas163 says, I hope Real Madrid sign Verratti or Eriksson. Yeah, Eriksson, if we sign something like Eriksson or Van de Beek, I think I'd be pretty happy just because I think we need numbers in the midfield. Right now we're looking thin and it's kind of worrying. I like Paul Pogba, but I don't think he's the answer to everything that we've got. If we bring in a couple of players, I think it could be a little bit better. And I know I was talking to Caesar, who conducts the podcast 3 Ways, 1 Goal. Let me actually pull it up really quick here. Give me just a second here. So he conducts this podcast right here. I was talking to Caesar about this, and he was saying essentially what we could do is bring in 2 veteran midfielders instead of having just one Galactico signing like a Paul Pogba. I guess we could do that for the time being while, maybe this Paul Pogba deal is being worked on. But it's, I don't know. It's a difficult one, because Paul Pogba I know is a very good midfielder. I just don't think he's the answer to all of our questions. Let me check if I can. There he goes. Okay. So that's a tough part when it comes down to that. So there you have it. I think that's the news for today. One last thing though, I do want to get into the permutations for next season. So let me pull that up really quick. There you go. So what we could do essentially, I know Zinedine Zidane will like to go with the 4-4-2. I know he experimented with it, and I think it could work. I think it could work, the 4-4-2. And why did I put Benzema in there? A lot of people will question it. Benzema, what I like about him, he drops into the midfield. Drops in here, and he creates midfield superiority. And that's what, I don't want to say that, but, and then you have the wingers that could tuck in right here. And why did I put Kubo? Here, let me explain myself. So you need midfield superiority. Benzema drops. Hazard, hopefully, can drop into the midfield and help. Kubo can drop into the midfield and help create midfield superiority. Because right now, with the 4-4-2, you have essentially 2 real midfielders, and that creates a problem because you don't want I would say midfield inferiority, but you don't want little numbers in midfield. You want to create midfield superiority, and 2 midfielders won't cut it. So you need hardworking, I would say, left and right hand midfielders. So those midfielders need to tuck in. Benzema needs to come down, and Mariano can sometimes come down. So hopefully we can do something like this. Let's see if I can just clear this out really quick. Yeah, I can. Wow, that's great. Yeah, there you go. Okay, and then obviously Kubo starting. Well, look, for me, I think he's got it. And I know last time I said Kubo as a starter, maybe not. But you know what? He does look ready. He looks mature. He looks composed. I think if he could start a few games, I think he's more than ready. I think he's a very, very good player. I would definitely like to see Kubo there. And Hazard, obviously, right there. Hazard will come good. We have to be patient with Hazard. Do not worry. He will come good, I think the last few games will be a wake-up call for Eden Hazard, but he will come good. I'm not too worried about him. And then why did I put Mariano here? Mariano was very good last game, and I think to bring in Mariano into the team would do us very good. The reason I say that is because Luka Jovic is a very good striker. He will be good for us. The reason I bring in Mariano into the team is because essentially what I want to do is, tell Jovic like, hey, Mariano has that position right now. You got to work for that position, And if we can do that, we can bring out the best out of Luka Jovic, He's an amazing player. No Cruz, no Modric, no problem, says Jonas163. Yeah. Pogba is talented, but I think he's pretty lazy, says Jonas163. He is kind of lazy. I'm not going to lie. It could be the system that he was in under Mourinho that made him look lazy, but under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you did kind of see that as well. He does jog around a lot. He does strut around a lot. Is it laziness or is it just efficient running? Different perspectives, I guess. But amazing player. But yeah, sometimes, and that's the thing. That's why I don't want to build a team around Paul Pogba. It's not. I don't think we could essentially build a team around Pogba. I think he's a lot better for us if we have solid foundations. And no Cruz, no Modric, no problem. Yeah, at the moment, Cruz and Modric, they're not impressing me. And the reason I include all these new players is because I want players who are hungry. We can't have players who are complacent. And why did I include Varane and Carvajal there? Well, Varane, who do you want to go with? Nacho? not a lot better. So Varane, we'll have to deal with them. Carvajal, I think still maybe has a hunger to some extent. Navas, I think no doubt about it. Casemiro, a little bit precarious, but I'll leave him in there. And Benzema is questionable, but I think what I like about Benzema is he just provides a lot outside of the number 9 position. So Genesis163, I agree. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So it could be something like this could be a very good lineup. I'm not saying like this for every game, of course, especially Kubo, but I think Kubo is more than ready to take on the right hand position. I know Rodrygo is a good shout. Rodrygo looks potentially very, very good, but for me, Kubo just edges it out a little bit, and I don't know if it's because I like those kinds of players with the nifty footwork and stuff like that, but I would like to see Kubo in a Real Madrid shirt, taking some first team action here at the club. And of course, Navas. Navas is just outside. There's no question about Navas is there. I mean, Courtois hasn't really convinced me. I back him. I back Courtois, but he hasn't convinced me as of yet. Navas convinces everyone. I hope we see Navas as a first goalkeeper next season because he's still got it in him. It's a lot more. I would say. It's a lot more solid. We're a lot more secure with Navas there in that position. Jonas163 says it's a balanced team. Yeah, and that's hopefully it could, hopefully we can bring in some kind of balance, 4-4-2 is a little bit scary. Sometimes I do like the 4-4-3 better just because we do have, that one more midfielder. And because of this formation, the 4-4-2, you do have Eden Hazard who maybe have to work a little harder. You have Kubo who has to maybe work a little bit harder to come back defensively. But, I mean, look, no one's really exempt from defensive duties. So, at the end of the day, hopefully a 4-4-2, hopefully they can do the job. James Scullion says, is Ramos suspended for the game versus Celta on match day number 1? I'm not sure, actually. That's a good question. I think someone else asked me that as well. I'm going to check, actually. I don't see anything about it. But it's definitely a possibility. Don't rule it out because I really don't know. I really didn't check any of that stuff out. But there you have it. I don't want to see Ramos too much. What I want to see essentially this season is that Ramos doesn't play, all the games this season. I want to see Militao taking on this position right here. And the reason I say that is because Ramos is getting older. He's dwindling down. We have to rely on someone else. And that someone else I think could be either Militao. It will be a bit risky this season. For me this season, I don't know if we're going to win trophies or not. It looks shaky. Things look shaky all across the pitch, I guess you could say. And to win trophies or not, I'm not 100% sure we're going to win a lot of trophies. But look, this is the thing, football works in cycles. We can't always win. We have to have periods of transition, and this could be just a transition season, To be honest, if it's like that, yes, it sucks. It is Real Madrid, but essentially, maybe it could do us some good. Every team just goes through that, Even Barcelona with their Champions Leagues, I would say with their paucity of Champions Leagues, they haven't won any Champions Leagues in the past few seasons. So, it happens. This is football, and not everyone can win everything every single year, So maybe it's just going to be a transition season for us. So there you have it, guys. That's all I have for you guys today. I'm going to end it pretty soon. But this is the starting lineup, of course. You have Van de Beek that we're potentially interested in. Hopefully we can get him because at this point, look, I'd rather get a couple midfielders in than get nobody at all. Kroos, Modric, very complacent at the moment. We need midfielders who can compete for those positions. Maybe get the best out of Kroos and Modric. And, obviously having other people in the midfield will consolidate the midfield positions. The other thing I want to talk about, Gareth Bale, obviously with the golf situation. Look, Gareth Bale at the end of the day, I don't blame him at all. But the thing is with Gareth Bale, he doesn't really help himself, with this situation. He doesn't really help himself. And then, of course, you had the second topic, which was Takefusa or Rodrygo. Rodrygo could bring in different qualities. For me, I like Kubo better. I think that's just very, very subjective for me. But there you have it, guys. That's pretty much the recap for today. James Scullion says you interact a lot more with your subscribers than other YouTubers, which is great. Love the channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, James Scullion. I really appreciate that. I love everyone so much. You guys really make the channel. It's really you guys that make it happen here. I'm just the host, and I just conduct these little, I guess, I would say live streams, and I really like it. I really like it. Jonas163 says maybe this transition pays off in the future. I hope so. I hope so. Nice Day says yes, keep doing it, man. For sure, for sure. The only thing I just want to say before I go is that tomorrow I won't be able to live stream. I won't be coming out with the 7:30 live stream just because I have work. Very, very rare that I won't be able to live stream, but tomorrow is just one of those days where I can't do it. Might come out with something pre-recorded, but there you have it. I won't be able to. Then Saturday, the usual will be out. Saturday is going to be at 2 p.m. and then Sunday at 2 p.m. So that's the next live stream, Saturday at 2 p.m. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thanks to James. I really appreciate all those kinds words. And like I said, of course, if you have any criticism, anything that maybe I'm doing maybe not so good or things like that, I'm always open to it. Sometimes, from my point of view, it's a lot different than from other people's point of views, I guess you could say. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day. Thank you.